Hello, everybody. I've been getting a lot of emails from people who are interested in my approaching courses next spring, which I have been promoting lately. And they've been wanting a little more information on what it is that I'm exactly teaching on these courses. And so rather than type a lot of email responses, I thought that I would do this particular video. So I will tell you, if you don't want to hear about my upcoming courses, you might want to stop this video now. Okay, but if you are interested in hearing a little bit more about them, and especially the 15% discount that you can get if you register early for each of these courses, then you're in the right place and continue listening. So I'm doing two courses. The first course that I'm going to talk about is going to be on Sunday evenings. And that is a foundation level Vedic astrology course. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that here in a moment. But this will be Sunday evenings from 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. UK time. If you look up online the difference between your time zone and London, then you'll have an idea of what time this is in your own particular time zone. But, I also want to mention, if you can't make every single class, it doesn't really matter, because each class is recorded and you can catch up with the video of each class after the class has been done. So in essence, you don't really have to miss a class because you can just watch the recording. Okay, so basically, if you register for this class before the 4th of December of this year, you get a 15% discount off the course registration fee, regardless of whether you pay for this course in full or pay for it by trimester. You'll still get a 15% discount on the whole course. So if you're paying for it by trimester, you get a 15% discount on each trimester's payment for the entire course, okay? So the regular fee for this course is $899. And the fee by trimester, if you choose to pay by that option, is $329. But if you pay before the 4th of December or register before the 4th of December, then you would be getting the entire course registration fee for $764. And each trimester, if you're paying by the trimester instead, would be $279. Now, this class is going to be a 44-week class, and it starts on the 18th of March, 2018, and it will run through to the 24th of February, 2019. This is a very extensive course, right, with lots of examples, etc. We're going to take a break over the holiday season of 2018 from the 18th of November to the 6th of January, 18th of November 2018 to the 6th of January 2019. Okay, so let's talk about what we're going to cover on this course. I'm speaking of this course as being an organic foundation level Vedic astrology course. So what do I mean by that? I'm going to teach you the components of astrology in a manner that kind of gives rise to the concept of the planets being living and the Rashis being the limbs through which those planets act, understanding a planet in another planet's sign and how to relate to that through using the concept of, if you're at a best friend's house, you're going to feel more comfortable, things like that, etc., and really helping those who are new to Vedic astrology really grasp these concepts in a manner that's going to help them to learn them more effectively. So the things that I'm teaching on this course, number one, and I'm going to give an explanation of each of these, get to know the grahas or planets as conscious entities with unique personalities, okay? So in Brihat Parashara Hora Shastra, it's stated that the planets are conscious incarnations of Vishnu. So if we understand the planets as living beings, we begin to have a deeper understanding of it. So we'll look at the mythology related to the planets and even the conscious incarnations of Vishnu that the planets relate to. In addition to that, we'll learn some specific qualities of the planets that are taken from the Jaimini school of astrology that can help you to grasp the understanding of the planets more efficiently, in addition to understanding some of the concepts about the planets from Brihat Parashara or Horus Shastra, and putting these together, how to give yourself a complete understanding of each of those planets. Because when you can see each planet as a living being, then you can go, okay, well, if this living being is in this type of environment, that's how that living being is likely going to act. Right? And it really helps you to understand things a little more deeply. We'll also learn how to understand the planets as producers and causers, mainly by understanding the planets as either a karaka or actually being a house lord or being a house lord placed in another house, and the difference between all those different factors that really gives you a very intuitive understanding of what each of those components is doing on an independent level. We'll learn the Rashis or the signs as unconscious limbs of the cosmic being, because that's how it's stated in Brihat Parashara Horus Shastra. They need consciousness in them or aspecting them in order to bear their fruits. So we'll learn about that, and we'll learn also about how Rashis are like a field of activity, right? We'll also learn about the more finite focus of the Rashis through the equal house system, which begins to direct that energy towards a house or a particular area of the individual's life, in addition to house cusps, which tend to be more fine-tuned than the equal house system. So we're going to learn all these concepts early on as a beginner concept. So even those of you who have a general understanding of astrology, you might want to consider taking this course, because there's going to be some things that you don't really work with, perhaps, that you're going to have an opportunity to learn. We'll also learn about the nakshatras as the growers of consciousness, what the nakshatras are. We'll learn some general concepts about each particular nakshatra. In addition to that, we'll learn the correlation between planetary dignity, both natural dignity, which is related to a planet being a friend with another planet. We'll learn about all the planetary friendships, is what I mean by that, in addition to temporal dignity, which is determined by looking at planetary friendships along with temporal friendships in order to put together a final dignity. All that except for exalted mula trikona, own house, and debilitated, which is a different matter, but you'll learn that too. And we'll learn how to correlate those to something called the deep toddy avastas, which let us know how a planet feels when it acts and how it makes the individual feel. In addition to that, we're also going to learn about two of the avastas, which are the Baladi avastas, which help us to understand the maturity of the planets, and the Jagardati avastas, which help us to understand the awareness of the planets. And through learning these concepts and combining it with dignity, we'll also learn something called the base 60 system, which I have found to be a great tool for teaching an individual how to really understand whether a planet can create something, even if it's in bad dignity, or whether a planet can be in good dignity, but yet still incapable of creating something that's going to be long-lasting. This really helps you to get the more subtle understanding of the planets on that particular regard. In addition to that, we'll learn about Vimshotri Dasha period, basically what's happening and how it happens, how certain levels of Vimshotri Dasha work and how they interact with each other, and how Vimshotri Dasha tends to create the events in our life. In addition to that, we'll learn about aspects, both Rashi aspects and planetary aspects. Rashi aspects are really good because you can get more concrete results from those if you go into the Varga charts, right? A lot of people tend to try to do planetary aspects in the Varga charts, and that doesn't always work out, right? Because planetary aspects are an astronomical concept. But Rashi aspects work in every single Varga chart, okay? So those are many of the things that we're going to teach on the organic foundational level course, but we will, include a few other things that aren't listed on that list as well. By the time you come out of that course, you'll know how to do basic prediction, basically. from understanding those particular concepts. And you'll also know how to understand strengths and weaknesses in your chart and in charts of other people. Okay? The other course that I'm going to be teaching is my extensive Nakshatra course. I taught this course last year, but I have added so many new concepts that it's almost a completely new course. And again, this is also a 44-week course that's going to start on the 24th of March, 2018, and run through to the 2nd of March, 2019. This course will take a break between 17th of November 2018 and 5th of January 2019. If you want to take advantage of the 15% discount on this course, you need to register before the 11th of December. Again, the pricing structure is the same as the other course, meaning if you don't get the discount, then the course fee is $899 for the full course. And if you want to pay by trimester, that's $329 by trimester. But if you register before the 11th of December, the full course registration is $764, and by trimester, it's $279. This course will be on Saturday evenings from 6:30 to 8 p.m. London time. Again, you can go online in your particular time zone to find out what time it will be in your area. Okay, and again, if you miss this class, if you miss a class here and there, you can catch up with the videos of the class. Also, I didn't mention with each of these courses, you automatically gain membership to my astrological forum, where you can post questions in between classes and have your questions answered. Okay. So let's understand what's going to be covered on this course. First, we're going to go through each individual nakshatra, get an in-depth understanding of it. If you were on this course last year, there is going to be some information on the nakshatras that wasn't included last year, like colors of the nakshatras. We'll also learn mantras to work with for each of these nakshatras if there are some imbalances associated with it. Those are some of the things that we'll understand, in addition to all the general basics of the nakshatras, some of which you can't find in some of the books out there that you're seeing because it's kind of pulled together from several different texts. Okay. We'll also learn two prevalent calculations that are used for determining nakshatra position or nakshatra longitude, and we'll learn the reasons for using each of those calculations, right? Why one should be used with one system and one should not be used with another system, right? We'll learn the meaning of the terminology that's used to define nakshatra characteristics like the gunas. That's something that very importantly ties in to the nakshatras, along with the gana or the race of beings that are connected with each nakshatra. We'll learn what all that terminology is about. In addition to having an in-depth description of each nakshatra and examples on their interpretation, we'll also learn what the nakshatras do, right? What they're all about. In regard to some of the techniques we're going to learn how to interpret the nakshatras through final dispositorship, how you can read a chart just by looking at the nakshatras and following what's called a chain of final dispositorship. Okay, so what does that amount to? Let's say, for instance, you have Saturn in Mula Nakshatra. Well, you'd go find Ketu and look at what nakshatra Ketu's in. Let's say Ketu's in Dhanishta. You'd go find Mars. You'd see what nakshatra Mars is in. Let's say you've got Mars in Hasta Nakshatra. You'd go find the moon, find out what nakshatra it's in. And let's say you've got the moon in Mula Nakshatra. That's ruled by Ketu. So you followed the chain around to completion, right? We'll learn how to read a chart in that manner. We'll also, on this course, learn the base 60 system and a couple of other systems for judging planetary and nakshatra strength, so that you can learn whether or not a nakshatra is going to yield more of its beneficial results or more of its difficult results. We'll also learn how the moon itself ties into that equation. In addition to that, and this is not really taught anywhere in conjunction with the nakshatras, at least as far as I know, we'll learn about something called the Shayanadi Avastas. And the Shayanadi Avastas are determined using nakshatras, rashis, and in addition to that, the first letter of an individual's birth name. So these are very personal, and they change per dasha period, and they tend to show the condition in which an individual will approach a particular planet. And in addition to that, as nakshatras are ruled by planets and rashis are ruled by planets, how an individual is going to approach those rashis as well, right? They're very important, and they'll give a lot of depth to your reading, especially with nakshatras. And if you've taken my Varga course, you can combine that with the Varga deities, and you'll get a lot of depth and association with that. We'll also learn how to work with Tarabala. Tarabala basically relates to nakshatra distance, one planet's nakshatra, and how distant it is from another planet's nakshatra, and how to incorporate that into a consultation. We'll learn how to interpret the nakshatras in the Varga charts. I tend to work with a system that takes the nakshatra position from the Rashi chart. And so let's say if the moon is in Mula Nakshatra in your Rashi chart, it's going to be in Mula Nakshatra in every single Varga chart, regardless of which Rashi it's in. I do that because I tend to see the nakshatras as being connected to astronomy more so than just astrology, right? And the astronomy of a horoscope happens in the Rashi chart, okay? Interpreting the nakshatras using Shayanadi Avastas, planetary strength, and Vimshotri Dasha, how to put all these elements together in order to give an interpretation to an individual, and equally understanding house cusps in nakshatras, right? If you use a house cusp system, house cusps will have nakshatras as well. You can combine that together with the Varga deities. You get so much in-depth information about how a planet is acting through a house that you wouldn't get otherwise. These are all things that we're going to learn on the Nakshatra course. So if you're interested in either of these courses, you're going to see a link at the end of this video, if you don't already see it now, that will take you to the course page so you can read further about these courses and register if you're interested. And again, if you register before December 4th for the foundation level course, you get a 15% discount. If you register before 11th of December for the Nakshatra course, you get a 15% discount. And here's the special bit. If you decide you want to take both of those courses together, you'll get a 20% discount on both of those courses. Okay, so if you're interested in these courses and you're in a position to register now, please follow the links that are above in this video. And thanks for watching this all the way through to completion. And I hope that that's helped to clarify some of the things that I'm going to be teaching. Bye now.